Hello to everybody watching, and welcome back to our interview 3 + 4 minutes with a duck. And today we've got the one and only Duck Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Beall. Sir, please introduce yourself.
All right. Hello, ducks, and anybody else that happens to be tuning into this. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Beall. Let's see. I've been in the squadron for nearly 2 years. Absolutely the best assignment of my career. They will have to drag me out kicking and screaming. Been a career 14N in the Air Force for nearly 18 years this month, which sounds super old, and it is, I guess. But like all old people say, I don't feel it. Married, 2 kids, 6th grade and 4th grade. This pandemic brings a new dynamic to that because I'm the backup substitute teacher in our home. Thankfully, my wife does an awesome job at that until she does it, and then she punts them to me. 1 husky, 1 cat, and let's see, born and raised in Northern Virginia. So this is kind of like a Maryland is awesome. It's kind of like a homecoming tour for me, at least. That's how I perceive it. What else? Is that good? What else do we need?
That's good. No, I think that's good. Except
Nailed
I'm
that
offended
question, huh?
I'm just offended because I've been in the Air Force almost 18 years as well, and I think you just called me old. But you being a child of the 70s,
see, main difference, right? Like I joined it later in life, number 1. Number 2, I'm not permanently 34 as you are, and you can share that story with the rest of us. So
that'll be
everyone
for
else
that's interview.
No, I'm gonna share it right now. So we mandated on Shirt's birthday last year.
Yeah,
your most that you stay 34 forever. So you're not allowed to. A lot of people would consider that a blessing, I think, right? So not even Benjamin Button, you're just permanently frozen at 34, and that's awesome. So congratulations. So I will always be, we'll be in the Air Force the same amount of time, but now I'm just constantly getting older than you. So you're not old, you're permanently, you are the perfect age.
I am the perfect age, 34, and I answer that when people ask me, and now it's confusing all
it's starting to seep in.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know how old I am
anymore.
Yeah. Okay, this isn't about me. Nice try. First question, what is the most annoying question that people ask you regularly?
I don't think I get a ton of them besides what all of us might be frustrated with, taskers and stuff like that. I think the only, there's the standard like, hey, could you sign this? I think my favorite, possibly annoying one is, could you sign this real quick? And it's normally not real quick, and especially when it involves things like, like this requires the wing commander's signature. Oh, and it's due tomorrow. And we don't have any of the supporting documentation. Sure, let me take a look at that. So that's probably the only sometimes frustrating thing, but the vast majority of them are real quick and are no-brainers, and that's what I excel in, is the no-brainer signatures. That's good. I think that's really probably it. People say a lot of time, like, I know you're super busy, can I just ask a quick question? While oftentimes that's true, we've always got, as you well know, you've always got time to stop and field questions from anybody that wants to ask. So I don't get frustrated at that at all. I regret sometimes if I'm ever putting off a vibe of like, oh, I'm too busy that I can't, stop for a question that lasts 34 seconds. Yeah, I know, right? So we would always take, I think, engagement with somebody that has a question over, any of the other stuff that we might have to do on a regular basis. I think that's probably it.
Yeah. For me, it's what's for dinner. I don't like.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I've been on the receiving end of that one for a while, and that's a really good call.
Food. Yeah. I'll figure it out.
I don't know about the little people in your house, but mine expect to eat like every
constantly.
Day. I don't
3
understand.
Times.
It's not what I signed up for.
You got to get rid of them. That's probably the only option. All right.
2 hours later.
Pressing world issues.
Right.
What irrational fear do you have?
So I think all of my fears are perfectly rational because, otherwise, why would I be afraid of them? Yeah, they make perfect sense to me. I'd go with I am terrified. Well, so snakes. Let's start off with snakes. But I think that's a perfectly rational fear, right? And I don't care what size they are. They're quick. They're wily. They're all poisonous. I don't care what science says. I'm staying the heck away from them. I am generally terrified of anybody touching their eye. Like direct contact with your eyeball freaks me out. I just don't know why, like your eyes, it's extremely sensitive. Like, why would you do that? And then normally I say that, and what's everyone's first reaction?
Contact.
Plunge knuckle
Oh,
deep into their eyeball.
no,
Like, it's
I
gross.
was.
Like,
Yeah, no, you
like,
said that, and I
you're afraid
cringed.
of this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so terrible. So I am blessed. I think this all goes downhill now that I've hit 40, but I'm blessed with still good vision. I will never be able to wear contacts like ever. So it's either this or straight to glasses for me.
I had the initial instinct to freak you out by putting my
Yeah.
finger towards my eye, but then I realized it's not an irrational fear. That's disgusting. Just the thought of it creeped me out too.
I appreciate that. I can't, like, I visibly, even, I won't say like signing off on people's LASIK and PRK makes me weird, but then I will talk to people about it. And I cringe during the description of the process. That's crazy to me. I think those are the big ones. I will say, so we've got a little pond that we walk around regularly now in everyone's daily walk time. But we got a pond in our backyard that we walk around. A lot of people like to fish in it. I'm not a big fisher. I am also generally, terrified is a strong word. I'm afraid of getting the hook caught in. I think it has a natural, like it's coming for me at all times. And so whether it's in my finger, my eyeball would obviously be the worst. I think that fish hook's gonna get stuck in, it's gonna get caught on me somewhere.
That's
Bound
irrational.
to happen.
Yeah,
you think
that's not
so?
rational.
See,
I
here's the thing,
fished
though.
many times and not a
Mhm.
single time in.
It's not coming for you though. It's coming for me because I'm fairly coordinated but very accident prone, and so that's gonna. You don't agree that I'm coordinated? Well, I didn't. Okay.
No, I mean, adequately coordinated.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to
A
move around here. I
requirement
mean,
of
there's
coordination.
yeah, that's fair. like a giant baby, like a baby giraffe. Yeah, I think getting fish hooked. That's probably a perfectly rational one as well.
Okay.
What do you got?
Me? Geese.
Yeah, geese.
Yeah.
They're
absolutely.
mean. No, that's rational. They're mean.
And it extends sometimes to unpredictable flying things. Like I don't have a problem with birds in general.
You better not.
I know. I love ducks. No, I love
Very
ducks. But like I don't have a problem with them safely on the ground or flying at a reasonable distance. But like going to the part of the zoo where like birds are just free to do whatever. Can't stand it.
Yeah.
And my husband thinks it's hilarious. We'll be walking through like the National Mall, and if a pigeon comes near me and I hear it, it's like I'm like air raid siren on the ground.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the old Hitchcock movie, more of like a documentary in your mind than like an actual horror movie.
Yeah, and it's funny because I got attacked by a flock of geese when I was 5. Because like you said, they're awful. Like they're terrible. Yeah. They hiss, they honk, they nip at you. None of them were flying, so I don't know why now it's flying. Getting dive bombed by a bird, I think.
Nope, that's fair. You just present your strong duck credentials and see if that makes a difference.
I think it's helped. Like I haven't been accosted or approached by any wayward bird.
I like it.
The 18 months that I've been in the squadron, so hopefully that lasts forever.
Glad that you and the flying.
34.
Yeah, there you go. You and the Flying Kingdom are at a good place. That's good. I'm glad.
We're at an agreement. Yeah, you stay away, I'll stay away. All right. As expected, this is going longer than I originally thought. I might take some questions off, which you might enjoy. Let me pick.
It's weird that me and you would be long-winded. I've never had that.
You and me? Really?
Yeah.
Strong you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm a jerk. What mistake do you keep making again and again?
I'm bad with people's names, and that includes like
sure.
Right. So that works for me. I'm great with faces, and I told this even to our airmen up front. So tough with a squadron of 470. But it's not, and I try to work on it, but it doesn't really get me anywhere. But that extends to my life here, right? Like I've got a neighbor 2 doors down, and it's either Mike or Mark. But I'm terrified of going the wrong direction because it'd be like, man, we've lived by each other for 2 years now. You should know this stuff. His daughter babysits for us.
Oh, that's even worse. I was gonna say, are my sister and brother-in-law your neighbors? Because my brother-in-law's name is Mike. Their neighbor of the last 5 years has called him Matt, and they've tried to correct him, and he still calls him Matt. So.
Yeah, we're super friendly, and I'm pretty sure the next door down is the reverse. It's either Mike or Mark. So like I've got to send my kids over for recon questions before we have a conversation. It's so I'm bad at that, and I try to work on it, and so
this might come
that is my recurring mistake for sure.
This might come as a surprise to you. But I've lived next door to the same person for about 5 years, and I thought her name was Kelly. Turns out it's not. It's Abby. But I discovered that in kind of the same method as you with the kids. Like, hey, what's Danny's mom's name? I know Danny's dad's name is Danny, but and I'm like, it's Kelly, right? They're like, no, Mom, you're an idiot.
Yeah. And Katie and I, or the kids, will absolutely try to help each other out, like do the new introductions so we can all remind each other, but we're way past that stage now. It's full up into it will be weird if I get it wrong.
It's like me introducing you to Chief. This is Jason Burton.
Yeah. Well, so on the other hand, right, like good proof of that, like I've called you Soup plenty of times. So maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe this is what 40 looks like. Everything just starts to go downhill at that point.
I was called the wrong name growing up all the time by my mom, and I read in my psychology book that apparently when people mix up people's names like that, it's because they're all retrieving them from the same spot of their brain. And that's where people's names are that you care about. So if you call me Soup, I'm going to assume that means it's because you love us both equally.
Yeah, that's what that is.
But damn it, I'm Shirt. Okay, I'm going to nix the last 2 questions. You're welcome. Unless there was one you felt strongly about that you wanted to answer.
No, I don't remember what they were.
All right, well then I'll turn it over to you.
I was practiced.
There was a conspiracy one and something about your friends. Oh, yeah, I want to ask that one anyway. We'll go.
All right.
What's something that your friends wouldn't believe is true about you?
So I think that weird fact about me that I'm sure nobody that I work with knows is when I was a kid, I was shot in the face with a BB gun like through my cheek, and it rests and continues to rest. They never took it out because they would do more damage going in to get it, to retrieve it, than they would just leave it in there. So it remains lodged in my soft palate, basically in the center cross section of my face, and missed like carotid artery and prime facial nerve and optic nerve and all this stuff by like less than a millimeter. So that was interesting. I know, right? Yeah. Not so much anything that I did, but still an interesting story. One of my childhood friends growing up, I was probably about 10 or 11 years old, new BB gun for Christmas, and we're like air shooting each other with it, or he suggests that, and I go, sweet, why don't we do that? And he goes, no, because you might not check the chamber and you could do this, and he shoots me in the face. And I was like, that is powerful air. And then I was like, oh, this is bad. But sure enough, so still have it. I don't set off metal detectors, but remains lodged there today. Friends outside of work might know that story. I think they just be more friends that know what I like that I've grown up with, or my best friends, outside of work, would probably just not believe what we actually I mean not believe what we actually do on a regular basis. Like, gotcha. Oh, really? You are in a squadron with they let you work with 500 other people with ties to the agency? Like, come on, man. I don't think so. What do you really do?
I get there's no way you're responsible for providing a commander a mission ready force of 470 other adults when you can't maintain pants on your 7-year-old. So I'm with you.
Yep. I think that would be I think that kind of incredulity.
Awesome. Now it's time to turn it over to you for your parting thoughts for our listeners and viewers out in the internet world.
Yeah. So thanks for doing this. I think it's a great opportunity to again, make a big squadron smaller, which is what I've always wanted, or use our time creatively and positively. And I think, at least in the current times we're in, my message probably, which has both positive and negative effects, and you and I heard this, someone told it to us, I think when we were sitting on a panel or something. It almost made me sad. It was just the notion that this too shall pass. And I think that's really important as we look at this pandemic, because there are probably a lot of people that are struggling. We've had people in the squadron that have, lost folks that are close to them directly because of it. So it is a challenge to some. Some are, but other people can use this kind of time in a sense to their advantage, and it gives you the opportunity to pursue things even like this that we probably wouldn't do were it not for some of the creative space that we have to consider new ways to connect with people. So in a certain sense, we will get back to some kind of normal in the future. This will pass, and that's good. But so will the opportunity, I think, to potentially explore new things, or to connect with people in different ways, or to again reach across flights and squadrons and just make connections with. We've got ducks that are doing awesome things even in their own communities, which is cool, that I don't know if they were doing necessarily before this. So so the bad things will pass, but so will the time available to maybe explore new ways to connect with people. And so I hope folks continue to take advantage of that.
I like it. It wasn't a panel. It was Senior Nichols'
Yeah.
retirement. Yeah. And it was his parting words, which were fantastic. And
yeah,
not
man.
that we haven't sat panels that were awesome. I didn't want to take the credit away. He put it really well. And I think you're right. We always think this too shall pass to get us through bad stuff, but making sure we enjoy the good stuff too, because it will also pass.
Yeah, and I'd kind of double down with, not to put you on the spot, but one of the coolest things that you gave me when we went through, some challenges as a squadron a year ago, and it was just that notebook that, tough times don't last, but tough teams do. And so I've obviously find a lot of strength in our, not just in the squadron, but in this leadership team in particular. And everything gets more manageable, and even that you can succeed in spite of it, I think, with the right team. I'm blessed obviously to have that, but for those that may not, then this is a perhaps an opportunity to develop strength in that team as well.
Yep. That's usually what I say when you're done. Yep. Nothing to add.
I've got nothing to add.
I got nothing
also, the
to
biggest
add.
compliment. You know what? You said at one point, like, what's the biggest compliment? That probably is, right? When you've got nothing to add, that is absolutely nothing that makes me feel better.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I always joke about the meme that says, the angry first sergeant. This is, I'm going to piggyback on the commander. And as much as you take it as a compliment, and I tease you about being a thunder thief, I love not being the annoying first sergeant that says, and to piggyback on the commander. So I'm not going to. But this is the end of it. Thanks for giving me your time and reluctantly allowing me to interview you for the squadron to see. I think they'll enjoy it. I enjoyed it. And you have a great day, sir.
I appreciate it, sure. Thanks for doing this. You're the best, as always.
Bye.